Hello knitters, Faye Lim from Strands Knitting Studio in San Clemente, California. And today I have off my needles and some classes, so stay tuned. Okay, off my needles and actually blocked is my Lavender Lake little shawl. Yes, beautiful. So this is 2 fingering weight yarns, and I was on a size, I think I went up to a 6 on it. I love this stitch pattern is beautiful. It's not difficult, and obviously it's very repetitive, but it's really beautiful. It's just a beautiful, this would make a great cardigan. That'd be a really pretty cardigan. And then, as I've told you, this was all garter, and I didn't like the way that looked, so I did it seed stitch, and I just think it blends a lot better instead of having the stark line. And then this is like a slip cable pattern down there. Now, I was a little confused because she said she used up all of her aqua, this color yarn, and I didn't. Even going up needle size, I didn't. So I mean, you could make this bigger. I had yarn left over. I just didn't know if I should make this any bigger because I didn't know if I had enough yarn for this, but I have plenty of yarn. I could definitely make this bigger and make this bigger. So so you can make it a little bigger if you want. But other than that, it's beautiful. And it was a really fun, I mean, I knitted this twice now. If you remember, I pulled the whole thing out because it was too small. So it's a little bigger now. It works, but I pulled the whole thing out and did it again. But it's just a beautiful stitch pattern. And it is fun because it is very repetitive. And yeah, you sort of get to know what's going on, slip stitches, and yeah. So this is Lavender Lake and fingering. All right, it's pumpkin season. Our store window is actually all Halloweened up, and the pumpkin class is this Sunday from 10 to 12. And this is easy. Anybody that can knit anything, and if you purl, that's even better, but you don't even have to really purl because you can do it just knitting. This is a great class. So you're gonna be pretty much knitting a tube. The basic pattern is you're on your like probably 16-inch needles. You could be on 24-inch needles also, and you're just knitting in a circle. And if you can purl, then you're putting little purl ridges down the sides. So where the sections of the pumpkin, when you wrap, you'll be wrapping on top of those purl stitches. But if you don't purl, you just knit, and you're still gonna be wrapping around it. So you'll still get all the sections. And then there's also a leaf pattern and a little curly cube stem pattern. But a lot of people like use cinnamon sticks and then tie, you know, like raffia or something around the cinnamon stick and just stick it inside. So you don't have to do the whole leaf thing if you don't want to. It's a little bit more fiddly, but it's fun. So that's it. So I have the knitting pattern, but there's also a really, really good crochet pattern that I did last year, which is pretty simple. And I made this last year. Sort of, so I stacked them and then I decorated it. So that's an option. Now, of course, you could do this with the knitted pumpkins too. You're just gonna make 3 sizes, which means you're just casting on different amounts of stitches. And so you're gonna make 3 sizes, and then you can stack them and do whatever you want with them. They also look really cute if you put little eyes on them. So they have like a little eye, they're like little pumpkin critters. So again, so this is a really, really fun class. Here's one, and here's the little curly Q thing. This is what I tend to do, is this one right here. And then if you are good, if you know how to do magic loop and 2 circulars, I'm not really going to teach it in class, but if you already know how to do small circular stuff, then there are patterns, and I'll have a pattern that you start out with fewer stitches and you increase, you do the tube, and then you decrease. So it's just a little bit more tailored looking, but you don't have to, and only if you're comfortable with that. So if you want to do it that way, I will have a pattern for that you can have, and you can just taper it. It's basically the same process. It's just that you're starting and you're growing it, knitting tube, and then ending it. But you'll need to know how to do magic loop, double points, or 2 circulars for that. And on this one, you'll notice we used green to do the wrapping. So that's what you wrap, so that those sections come out better. And of course, pumpkins are all different kinds of shapes and sizes. This one used the yarn that they actually knitted from. And this is one of the decreased ones. So it's a lot less stitches here. This one is also a decreased one, but I have other ones, and I haven't been done just a million of them with just the tubes. And we can decrease a little bit. We just won't get so small that you have to go to a different way of knitting. Okay, and then also remember that these pumpkins are great for decorating. They're great for gifts, like Thanksgiving. You can bring some pumpkins into Thanksgiving or Halloween parties like that. So they have lots of different uses, and they're just adorable and very easy. So this is sort of like the bunny season and how quickly those turn out. These turn out just as quickly. You're knitting a little bit longer, but it turns out just as quickly. If you would like to come with a tube already done, all you really need to do is pick a needle size so that the fabric is on the tighter side, so you don't see the stuffing. So like if you're on a worsted weight, you're going to go down to 6 or 5. You can go down to 6 or 5. If you're on DK weight, you're going to be on a 5. And then all you really have to do is cast on enough stitches to where your 16-inch or your 24-inch, whichever. If you want a bigger pumpkin, use the 24-inch, and cast on enough to where you can do the circle. And then you're knitting a tube for, if it's small, knit it for 5. If it's bigger, you might want to knit it for 6 inches. And then come to class with that done, and then we can actually make the pumpkin all up while you're in class. Or have it mostly done, but you have a good, because if you're going to be knitting in the round for a while. So again, go down on your needle size. I'm pretty sure in the emailer I put up what weight of yarn goes with what needles. So you're always going to go a little bit smaller because you're stuffing it. So you want it to be a tighter knit, not super tight, but a tighter knit, so that when you stuff it, you don't see the stuffing. So you don't see the stuffing in this guy. But this isn't a super tight knit, but it's so going down a needle size from the ball band or the chart I've got in the emailer, then you'll be fine. Cast on as many. So like for the 16-inch, you might cast on like 20, 30, 40 stitches. And for the bigger one, you're going to cast on more. I don't know how many more, but you're going to cast on, just keep checking it so that you can easily, don't make it so that you're having to stretch it around the cable, and it's really tight. Get enough stitches so that you easily can move it. You have a little bit gap, push it up, and you have some sitting there ready to go, and you're not constantly stretching everything. So that's how you do it. The number doesn't really matter, other than you can do a knit 4, purl 1, and so that's a multiple of 5. So that means you need to have the number of stitches of a multiple of 5. So 45 stitches, 50 stitches, 55 stitches, 70 stitches, 75 stitches, something like that. So that it breaks down into 5, because that's the stitch pattern's 5. So you're gonna knit 4, purl 1, knit 4, purl 1, put a marker in, knit 4, put 1, put a marker in, knit 4, purl 1, put a marker in, and then the marker will keep you straight. But you'll start seeing that little line of a purl. And you're just always purling on top of the purl. And you're using any yarns you want, and make them different colors. They don't all have to be orange, because pumpkins, you get gourds, you get stuff, and then you just get fall colors that are beautiful. And here's some pictures of those so that you can get an idea. Striping yarn looks really cool in it. Yeah, so this is a good way to use leftovers if you have them, or we have, like the striping, the Normal striping is really pretty, and that stripes up really pretty. It makes a really nice pumpkin. But there is just anything you want, all right? But cotton won't work quite as well, so I wouldn't use cottons unless it's mixed with some kind of wool, but mostly wool. But yeah, lots of colors. Use lots of colors. It's best. So pumpkin class. Pumpkin class is this Sunday from 10 to 12. The next class coming up will be October 12th from 10 to 12. So that's a Sunday. And that's the Muscle Burrow hat. So that's this hat, which I told you I was going to be, and this is, it's two-sided. So the colors, this is the earth yarn. It just does, the yarn does this. So you're not striping it yourself, but the yarn does this. And so this one's orange up there prominently. This one is, the orange is more in the middle. So it's totally reversible. You can make it long enough to where you can flip it up, or you can make it a little bit shorter and not flip it up, just have it down. You can also do a top-down hat. So this is a top-down hat pattern. And so there's also just a plain hat that doesn't do the big tube thing. And you'll learn how to start top down. And you've got a choice between a ribbed one and just a solid one, and maybe rib the bottom. You can make it long enough to flip up for a cuff if you want, or you just make it and it stops like right here. But it's basically learning how to do a top down hat, which then allows you to use any yarn, any needles, and have a hat that fits. And so it's a really great way to make a lot of hats. We just don't do it that much because it's fiddly to start. And people don't like fiddly to start. So this class you will learn, if you do not know how to do magic loop or 2 circulars or double points, then I will teach you. So your choice, me teaching you, there's a choice of 2 circulars. So if you've not done anything like this, you're gonna be doing 2 circulars. So that means you need 2 sets of needles that are like whatever needle, like if you're using 6s, you need 2 sets of 6 circular needles. They don't have to be the same cable size, but they have to be the same needle size. So you're gonna need 1 16-inch one to be able to knit the hat. So so you'll want that. But if you got a size 6, it's a 24-inch one, and they're different. It's all good. They just both have to be 6s, and that way you can do the small part. And then after you get pretty much done with the increasing, you'll be all on your 16-inch needle to knit the majority of the hat until you start. If you're doing the tube, if you're doing the regular hat, no tube, you'll be on your 16 to the end, and then you'll end it. If you're doing the tube, you'll be on the 16 until you start decreasing, and then you'll go back to a second circular or magic loop or however you did the top of it. So that class is October 12th, which is a Sunday from 10 to 12. Okay, and that's it for today, everybody, and I hope to see you in the studio real soon. Bye.